Government Operations and Fiscal Policy Committee met, and we reviewed this resolution. Just as very brief background, we do remember that in June of 2010, the Council approved for the first time a 6-year fiscal plan that was balanced for the entire period. And ever since, every June, we come together and review this resolution, take a look at where we are, and also approve and recommend and approve this resolution. Then in December, 3 months before the release of the executive's next recommended budget, we also do update the fiscal plan. The updates to economic indicators and revenue projections could result in a 6-year plan that is more or less constrained than the one approved by the Council in June. So it's an exercise that I think has been very critical and very important for our budgeting. The resolution is based upon the fiscal decisions the Council approved on May 25th, 2017. You can see that on Circle 1 through 4. The Government Operations and Fiscal Policy Committee has recommended unanimously approval of the resolution. We met on June 22nd and made that recommendation. As always, like any other version of the fiscal plan, this is reflecting current fiscal projections and policy assumptions. If there were to be a change, future versions of the plan will also change. I will turn it over to Mr. Sesker to briefly point out some of the particular components of this fiscal plan. It's important to note that if you see on rows 20 and 28 on Circle 3, resources available to allocate for FY19 agency budgets will be limited. And as we all know, there are some very important pressures. I would have to define it as such on our budget. And mainly we are looking at issues around debt service. We're looking at the WIN case. We're looking at all of the commitments that we have made to stay true to certain goals with our reserves, with OPEB. So there are a lot of different particular fiscal indicators and fiscal practices that we have committed to, and at the same time, we have to continually watch very carefully how all these other pressures have an impact on these commitments that we've made. The Government Operations Fiscal Policy Committee will also engage in sessions to discuss and truly have an in-depth conversation about issues such as debt service, PAYGO, reserves, OPEB, because oftentimes we come right before budget and we do an overview, we look at the numbers, and then we make decisions about what we're going to allocate and what we're going to approve. But I think it's important to have a conversation about the dynamic interaction, really how all of these different commitments and these different fiscal policies really do interact, and where are we in terms of projected expenditures, and where is the county as we go forward. A lot of conversation about, is that target, the target that we have set for our reserves, is that level the appropriate level or not? And I do think that these are important conversations to have, not in a vacuum, but really truly understanding what it is that we want to do, what it is that we feel the county needs to do, and how do you weigh the services and the demand for services with the fact that we have to be fiscally conservative and fiscally responsible. So this would be a series of conversations, and I invite all my colleagues, because I know all my colleagues have interest in understanding where we are and all the different pressures and how that drives both our expenses as well as our need to continually work in areas of economic development, et cetera, to expand our tax base. All of these things are connected, and I really look forward to those conversations.